Hello, hi, yes. It's me. I haven't done a face cam video in a while. The angle changed. My whole setup changed. If I move this, you'll see even more of my thing because you have a fun little top-down view thing now going on. But I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it over there. My background is slowly changing as I get more of the paintings done. And I have not done a live, it's not live, but a face cammy thing in a while. Because I've been busy arguing with this thing that you can see beside me. Which is going to be the reason now that there might be a soft hum in the background of all of my videos for a little while, because for some reason every single time you get a new fountain for a tank or something, it just insists on being infuriatingly loud. Yeah. So now we don't have to worry about me looking below you. Now I have to remember to look above. That's gonna be fun. I continue to forget to close the curtains. Now you can see more of into my room with this angle. Yay! Anyways. Yes. So, previously I had stated that I was going to do a separate show and tell with all of the paper products from my Disney trip. The reason being that the paper products themselves take up a fair amount of stuff, and most of them have stories associated with them anyways, because that's kind of how paper products work. And so rather than bog down the show and tell of all of the merchandise and stuff that I got with the paper products, it made more sense to make it a separate video, because otherwise it would have been longer than it already was. Yes. So we're going to start with the things that are not autographs. We're going to go from there. First, I'm going to show... Look, I have this set up. I can't get it to flip, so I'm going to have to constantly be looking to make sure that I'm putting it under the correct way. Yeah. This is the autograph book that is new. I'm going to show you this now so that you can see how they look without all the autographs in. They have these little photo things on this side. My only gripe with this is that these photo things, all of them, every single one, all throughout the entirety of the book, they only allow for the strip photos. The photos that you have to go into the photo booths for and get strips. They don't have any of them in this book, at least in this book specifically. And this was, by the way, the only autograph book they had available when we went, because I looked. And so none of the pages in this book allow you to put regular photo-sized photos in, despite this being exactly the correct size for a regular photo-sized photo. And I feel like that is a missed opportunity and kind of stupid. Like, I feel like you could have just as easily done like half of the pages with these photo strips and then half of them with regular photo pages so that you could put a regular photo in. But hey, that's just me. This is the back. The back looks really neat. This is the 2023 one, and they come with these little, strangely enough, and they had mini versions of these too that didn't come with the photo thing, but strangely enough, they didn't come with a pen. You had to get a pen separately, even though they gave you the loop for the pen. I feel like it would have been easy enough for them to just include a blue pen, and it wouldn't have cost them more, because you can get, let's be honest, a huge pack of pens from the dollar store for like $1, and there's like 20 of them for no good reason. But yeah. So this is the one that didn't get used. So this will get saved for the next trip that I make. Or heck, quite frankly, I might even just use it for con autographs, let's be honest. I'm not above doing that. If you're wondering, the pen that we got, I think I showed this in the other one, but the pen that I got to go with it was Stitch. You do have to be careful with these pens, though. The first one I got of these broke. And the annoying thing is because they're trying to do everything paperless now, they don't want to give you a receipt. But it broke like 2 days after I got it. 2 or 3 days after I got it. The little inkwell came out. So the little inkwell and nib came out. And that was annoying because since they don't want to give you receipts for things, you can't prove that you just bought it, which means that they ended up having to call managers and everything in order to allow me to get a replacement. So, there's a whole lot of little minor things that happened that I'm being a little bit nitpicky for. Also, you'll notice I'm lazy and I didn't feel like moving my keyboard since I'm not doing a drawing video. Sue me. The keyboard isn't hurting anything and it provides a neat rainbowy background. So yeah. Also, if I get distracted, it's because I have a friend who's randomly decided to do art for me. So there's that. So yeah. I probably should have planned this better, but I don't plan things. Anyways, just going right along here, we have the Food and Wine Festival passport. Now, I'm not going to go over this in massive detail as I didn't end up liking any of the... It's not that I don't like the Food and Wine Festival merch so much as I didn't like it as much as it would have required me to pay the outrageous amount to buy it. We were incredibly selective on what we got for Food and Wine Festival. Oh, there's your whole little thing if you're gonna follow the whole trail. We did not, so I very specifically mostly got things, like I got this because I specifically was trying to get stuff that I hadn't seen, I guess, elsewhere. So I was trying to make sure I got food that I hadn't seen in other places easily. If that makes sense. Because I didn't want to just get a bunch of food that I could get from restaurants that I knew where they were. So yeah. I was very specifically trying to get food that I hadn't tried. I think I just said that like multiple times, but whatever. Yeah, there's not really a huge amount to say about this. This is just your Food and Wine Festival thingy. that you get upon entering the... Well, not upon entering, but you can get it basically upon entering the Food and Wine Festival. So, like, not a huge amount to go over. This I find quite fun because I am a nerd. And I love fish. So, this is Dory's Finding Dory's Friends Fantastic Scavenger Hunt. This is just a little thing that you get to you can do for free upon entering the ridiculously giant aquarium that they have in Epcot. And so it gives you a whole bunch of random little fishy fish facts. A huge pile of well, not a huge pile of stickers, but like a pretty good amount of stickers. And they're in a really cute little cartoony style. So, fun fact about this guy, this is a Bangai Cardinal. They're usually not quite that yellow, but I suppose making them white is also technically not correct. They're more of a yellow, they're more of a gray, leaning towards yellow. But I actually had one of these guys as my, saltwater tank in school, because for my schooling, I got to choose between a freshwater and a saltwater tank. And so I had chosen a saltwater because I'd never done a saltwater tank before. And then doing that made me realize that was why I hadn't done a saltwater tank before, because saltwater tanks are kind of a pain in the butt. But yeah, I have fond memories of these little Bangai Cardinals because because he was my first, well, he technically wasn't mine, but he was basically mine while I was at school. I don't know how you want to classify that. I'm going to say he was mine. Yeah, so this is just your little aquarium pile of aquarium facts. So, this is just a fun little scavenger hunt you can do with your kid at the aquarium for all of the fishy friends that are in the aquarium. I find that really neat. This is the kind of thing that I would have thoroughly enjoyed as a child, because quite frankly I enjoyed it now, which means I can only assume I would have found it more enjoyable as a child. Yeah. Boop. I put it on the wrong side of the book because I'm a dumb. Yay! And now we have your Wilderness Explorer Handbook. So this is your child thing that you get to do for going into Animal Kingdom. Mine is a little bit messed up, as it did get a little tiny bit wet because it's Florida and it doesn't stop raining. But, oh, that was silly. You should have put the name on the inside, and instead she put it on the outside. So, the biggest reason why this is not complete is twofold. One, when you do this, you would essentially end up taking either the entire day only doing this, or alternatively you will end up doing the having to go to Animal Kingdom many days, because every single one of these, and here's the map so you can see where all of the stops are. But a lot of the stops are specifically on your really long paths and your extra things. And thus, you would have to spend the entire time only doing this because you would be doing a whole lot of hiking that day. So, I did not get a huge amount of these, especially since we actually didn't find someone who even had any of the booklets left until about halfway, a third of the way, somewhere in there through our day. So I did not get most. So I've only gotten, I think, 5 or 6 of the badges. It also didn't help that I don't think all of the troop leaders were out either. But, like, here's one of the badges that I got. And so you can tell when you get the badges, because all of the rest of them say place badge here. And so some of these take up the entire 2 pages, take up your entire fold, and then some of them are only 1. So, like, here's one of the other badges that I got. And you can play this game as a child or an adult. In fact, it was very fun as a nerd adult, because I am a nerd. Yes. So, you can see, here's one of them that I got, and here's one of them that I got. And so, the entire idea of this is, so as a child, it's more about participation, and you can go in and this helps you learn all of the things. And as an adult, it's more about learning about how to do the conservation part. And I think it was really, smart, actually, how they did this. Because they made it so if the troop leader is actually what they even called them in here. If the troop leader is talking to a group that consists more of children, they're actively having you participate, and they're actively giving you a lot more of the information, but they're like toning it down slightly so it's a little bit easier to understand as a child. And then if they're talking to you as an adult, it's more about, here's what we need to do to help with the conservation of this particular thing. Here's how you can do it in your own neighborhood, in going along those lines. So, if I were smart, I wouldn't have that all the way down there. I am unfortunately not smart, and thus I'm going to continue having it all the way down there. So, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Oh, good. The shadows make my mouth into a black hole. That's good. It's horribly rainy today, so we don't have a lot of natural light, and this room doesn't do well with light anyway. And the problem is the light that I could have on is very harsh, and I don't really feel like that's going to be a good idea for anyone. Next, Halloween party. So, this is going to be not incredibly long, as there's not a huge amount to talk about. This is your Not So Scary Halloween party pamphlet. It goes through all of your trick-or-treat stops. This is your list of different activities, your allergy family, or your allergy friendly center. This shows you some of the food that you can get that's very specifically for this, your shows, which I do have full videos of the shows. We just need to get, well, I unfortunately never ran into the Cadaver Dans, and that makes me kind of sad. In fact, I think I only ran into the Dapper Dans like once during the 3 days we were at Magic Kingdom. So that makes me sad. But, we did see the Rusty Cutlass, but I didn't get a chance to video that, as we only caught the tail end of it. But I do have full videos of the spectacular, the parade, and the Hocus Pocus thingy. So those will be up eventually once we figure out how to make the GoPro footage function correctly. For some reason, the GoPro footage is being a butt. This is why we're working on getting me like an actual regular camera as well. This shows you where is a map that shows you where all of the things happen. And your and your key. I didn't do a lot of trick-or-treating. I only did a little tiny bit of trick-or-treating. This is mostly due to the fact that I would then have to bring the candy back on a plane, and that seems like a horrible idea, really. So I did basically no trick-or-treating. I mostly got the trick-or-treat bag because I really like this bag and it's freaking adorable. And I wasn't going to not get the trick-or-treat Halloween bag. That's just how this works. And now we're on to autographs. So some of these are going to admittedly take longer than others. The reason being that some of these have a lot stronger memories than others, as they were more than just running up, talking to the character, doing the thing, and then leaving. We're going to start with the autograph cards. And we're doing this because that's how I feel like doing it. This is the one that you get for Ohana if you go during breakfast. We very specifically went during breakfast because we desperately wanted to meet Lilo and Stitch. And by we, I mean me. So, this one I have a little bit more of memories for. One, because it was my first time at Ohana, because we did breakfast first. And then the very last day of our trip, we did supper. But the reason this one has quite good memories is very specifically because of Lilo and Stitch. So the meet and greet characters that you can meet at the restaurant specifically, at least a few of them, this one and the Living on the Land Pavilion one, the characters have little things in their mascot heads that make kissy noises when they push the button. Or at least I assume they have to push a button to make the kissy noise. And so me and my boyfriend were dressed as Angel and Stitch, because that's how one does. And so Stitch came up first, Stitch came up first, I'm pretty sure. And naturally, immediately, Stitch recognized that my boyfriend was being Stitch, because that's how that works. Especially when you're literally wearing a hat that says Stitch on it. So, and then he looked from him to me and noticed that I was doing the all pink thing, and I had a pink beret with ribbons hanging down that looked like angels' antennas. That's why I was wearing that. And pretty immediately, he noticed that I was Angel, and he gave me a very cute heart thing, and that made me very happy. And Lilo pretty quickly also recognized both of us. I'm sorry. The more excited I get, the more likely I am to accidentally peek the mic. Apologies, headphone users. Probably don't wear headphones when you're watching my videos if I'm in them, as I have very little control over the loudness of my voice. Oops. Anyway, so Lilo also very quickly recognized who we were, and thus we both got kisses on the head from Lilo, which was very, very sweet. And also just the costume for Lilo, and unfortunately they used cartoon versions and they didn't use the costumes. But the costumes for both of them were really, really good. But I was actually kind of surprised how good Lilo's was, because a lot of times when they do the, a lot of times when people make the mascot suit things of humans, they just don't look right. And Lilo actually looked really, really good. So yeah, that is number 1. Also, I refuse to paste these into the book because then you lose the sides. Crystal Palace. So Crystal Palace was our breakfast on the second to last day, I think. It was either the last day or the second to last day. And it was the Winnie the Pooh, because they do breakfast, I think, only for Winnie the Pooh at Crystal Palace. And so I got to meet Eeyore and Pooh and Tigger and Piglet, and they were very sweet. And this was when I was dressed as the Cheshire Cat, so I think that did make it the second to last day. Anyway, so it was very cute because Piglet thought that I was dressed as him, because the Cheshire Cat has the pink ears and like the stripy shirt that kind of looks like Piglet. So I guess it kind of worked either way, as either like kind of a Piglet or kind of a Cheshire Cat. It was fun. Tigger and Eeyore have always been my 2 favorites, which I feel like is very telling of me and how I am as a being. But yes, it's also very cute because this banner, they actually have like a version of focus. They actually have a version of this banner like up, and we were basically seated almost directly underneath of it, and that was very cute. There we go. Garden Grill. I love this artwork particularly, though. Hold on. I love this artwork in particular, though, and I think that might be because I've kind of always loved Chip and Dale. So I don't know if Mickey and Pluto had the kissy ones, but I know Chip and Dale did because I got a top of the head kiss from I think it was Chip. Yeah. So the way that you tell Chip and Dale apart, and this is what they tell you, I think, thing at there too, is Chip has a chocolate chip nose, and that's how you can tell the difference. Yes. So this, I actually, gonna be honest, I kind of really loved the Garden Grill. And I think that's because I really love the Living with the Land. I really love that ride. Like, more than I feel like I should. Like, not even gonna lie, I kind of really love the... I kind of really, really love the ride for Living with the Land. Also, highly recommend... excuse me. If your fireworks get rained out, I highly recommend... Because obviously you're going to want to go to the fireworks. And if you only have one chance to go to the fireworks, you want to go to the fireworks. But if they get rained out, the Living with the Land ride is ridiculously peaceful and calming at night. And I feel like I might have mentioned this either in the vlog that we're, again, arguing with getting to function correctly because GoPro footage is being annoying, or in the show and tell thing. That. But I highly recommend riding that ride at night, especially if, like, your fireworks get rained out, because just hearing the trickle of the rain on the greenhouse will help you fall asleep when you get back to your hotel. That's not a lie. I slept amazingly the night that we our fireworks got rained out, and so we did the Living with the Land. It is incredibly soothing. Anyway, Sully gets autograph cards because Sully cannot sign autographs by himself as he has giant bear claws. Bear claws? Claw bears. Bear claws? Yes. So this was a fun meet and greet because Sully's costume is huge. It is ginormous. Like, I am a tall person, and I am, as you can see, not the smallest of people, and I came to, like, his shoulders. It was great. They did a really good job at making him larger than life. The only problem with him is that he sheds a lot. I was plucking blue furs off of my off of myself basically the entire rest of the day. Almost done with the autograph cards. This was the cantina. Oh no, Tusker House. Yeah, Tusker House cantina thingy. Doodly doo. And this was really, really fun. I actually kind of really loved this one. This and Ohana were the two that we did with the two dining meals that we did with the rest of our group. Because we had another chunk of group come down and join us for the tail end of stuff. Well, not the tail end. I guess it was kind of technically, like, almost exactly in the middle. No, it wasn't, because we had I don't remember. My brain is not good with dates. But they joined us specifically for, like, 3 to 4 days for the Halloween. So, specifically for the Halloween thing. And a couple of the, these. So, it was Ohana and this one that we did together. And so, this one, I have the short posted already, is where one of our group members got to learn how to do the perfect cast from Goofy, because he had dressed as Goofy previously, and that was really fun. And also Donald flirted with one of our other members of the group, and that was also very fun. That was fun. This was one of the more memorable interactions at the restaurant, along with when we were Angel and Stitch, just because it's always fun when the characters recognize when you're Disney bounding, and so that was one of them. And also, was it Friendship Day? Oh no, it was the one that they didn't give us a card for. Yeah, because it was the, so one of the other restaurants, and I'll probably get into this. I'm going to wait to get into it more once I get into the autograph book, because I have the autographs from that one in the book, since that was the only one that didn't give us a card. Yeah. Because that wasn't Ohana, and it wasn't, yeah. Yeah, it was the only one that didn't give us a card, so most of the character dining experiences, they'll give you a card, but you can also have your autograph book ready. And so I tended to do both, because some of them give you the card immediately when you get there, and some of them don't give it to you until you leave. And the one didn't give it to me at all, and I don't remember which one it was. It was the first character dining that we did, I think. And it was also the Halloween themed one, because it was Minnie's Halloween party thing. Moving on. I cannot tell you how absolutely happy I am that right before our trip was planned, Figment was released. And not only was it perfect timing on that part, but it was also just enough time after Figment had released that meant that the lines weren't like an hour long to meet Figment because he had been out for just enough time that people were okay, that people had already done it. Which means that I think I only waited 20 minutes for this one. And I'm pretty sure he was the longest wait that I had for a meet and greet. Which I honestly expected. He is the newest one. But Figment is my second favorite park exclusive character. The problem is that my first favorite is Gelatoni, and he doesn't exist in the States. Gelatoni, if you don't know, is one of the characters from Duffy and Friends. He is an artist cat, which is why he is my favorite, as I am also an artist, and I have reason to believe that I am or previously was a cat. Yes. So, I cannot begin to say how much I absolutely adored the fact that Figment was released almost immediately before we went. And that was amazing because I love Figment. And I cannot wait for that movie to come out, by the way. Once that movie comes out, you can expect there to be me rambling about it for a little bit. Anyways, enough about that. Let's get on to this. Now, I don't have... Actually, I guess I do have a fair amount of autographs. I have, like, almost... I managed to almost complete this book. It felt like I didn't have that many. Anyway. So. Peter Pan. He was my first signature. He was my first meet and greet. As he ought to be. So the main memory that I have from Peter Pan, from the interaction with Peter Pan, other than him being ridiculously well in character, which I have to give props to all of them, especially the ones that have to do face characters. They are very well within character, like at all times. It's great. Why am I suddenly popular amongst people? Why? Anyway. Again, I should have probably planned this better. I don't plan things. I'm bad at this. Also, you'll notice the book is a little bit wonky because it doesn't... we had, like, 2 really large downpours, and then, like, 2 or 3 where it was just kind of that drizzly... I believe the term that is used a lot is piss rain. Where it's just kind of dribbly and it's doing nothing for anyone. The main memory I have for Peter Pan's interaction was asking him if Wonderland was anywhere near Neverland, because I always, at least as a child, assumed that they were somewhere nearby each other. It yielded basically no answers because he said, well, that depends on which star it is from the right of the moon, and I'm like, that makes sense. So, Daisy was really fun to meet, actually. So Daisy, I very specifically met in Epcot. She does meetings right when you get off of the Skyliner. So Daisy and Minnie both do right when you get off of the Skyliner. But because it was Epcot, we did Kiki and Tombo for the Disney bounding for that day, which I guess wasn't really much of bounding and more like just being in costume. That doesn't register as a costume unless you know who it is. The best part is I had like a small group of people who did know exactly who we were, and that was amazing. But Daisy really liked the giant bow that goes with the Kiki costume, so that was fun. Daisy likes bows and hats and such, which makes sense. Joy. Joy meets basically directly across from Figment. As you would expect, Joy is bubbly and happy and bouncy the entire time you meet her. As you would also expect, the line to meet Joy was very thin, as Figment was there. So, my only complaint, I think, is that they only have joy, and they didn't have any other emotions other than joy. And I suppose that's probably because joy is the easier costume to make, because she's more proportioned like a regular person. That would be my guess. Pluto! There's not a huge amount to say about meeting Pluto. Other than that, basically everyone that was in line to meet Pluto was a very small child, which I guess makes sense. Goofy. Oh, this one was fun because this one was from when we met Goofy, and also one of the other members of our group was dressed as Goofy. So that one was particularly interesting, specifically because there was the interaction between the two Goofies. That was fun. Frozone. Frozone was... actually, that one was kind of a short-ish interaction. But they had, basically all of the Incredibles out, or everyone from the Incredibles out in the same general area. Edna, I think, was the only one that was in her own kind of separate area, which makes sense when you actually see the area, because Edna's area was set up as an art gallery, and we'll get to that shortly. But Frozone's, I have to say, Frozone's costume, though, was really good. So he has the advantage of most of his face being covered by the mask and stuff, which means that he doesn't get the uncanny face thing like a lot of the face characters do. Or like a lot of the, well, they're not face characters, but like a lot of the, humanoid ones that can't use their face do, if that makes any sense. And because he has the mask that covers most of it, you kind of avoid part of that. And now we have to go to Edna mode. Edna mode, I think, was my favorite interaction out of all of them. Because, if you don't know, not only am I an artist, and not only do I sort of vaguely design clothes sometimes randomly, I actually have a whole pile of old designs that I need to dig out to give to my other friend, two of which are actually models. And so that was an amazing interaction, because it was an artist and two models meeting someone who is both a fashion designer and so is thus an artist in that sense as well. And I'm kind of sad that they didn't like make up a thing to go with this. So to make this make sense, while we were talking, it was brought up that because one of the things that she tends to do is, when interacting with people, is naturally bring up your outfit, bring up what you're wearing, because that is what she does. And so we were like, and I was at that point in time just dressed as Gelatoni, which means that it was very obvious that I was an artist by the fact that I had paintbrushes sticking out of my little pouch on the side of me, and I was wearing a very artist-centric shirt, because Gelatoni is an artist. And because of this, it was naturally pretty immediately brought up that I was an artist, and that led to it being brought up that the other two were models. And so Edna was like, well, I'm looking for more art for my studio, and we could always use more models. And so everyone in our group was slightly disappointed that they didn't, like, make up a number or a fake email to go with this, because we were very specifically said to have our people contact her people. I don't remember if I told that story in the other one, but it is a fun story, and I think that is why, of all people that I could have met, that my brain remembers very well. I feel like Edna Mode was, I think, one, if not my favorite meet and greet, one of them. So that is amazing. Mr. and Mrs. Incredible, obviously they were meeting right by Frozone. We went to see them right after Edna because the lines in terms of shortness went Frozone, Edna, and then Mr. and Mrs. Incredible. Actually, I think we did Sully and then Mr. and Mrs. Incredible because they were a little bit longer, so we did Sully first and then hopped over across. It's kind of weird that they had Sully meeting right with the Incredibles, but, I guess that, limited on space, I guess. But the meeting Mr. and Mrs. Incredible was also fun. I am kind of sad that they don't have, Dash and Violet, but I guess it makes sense for them to have to do a little bit. Ah, there we go. So this is the set from the first, one that didn't give us the cards. And I can't for the life of me remember what that restaurant's name was. But they didn't give us the autograph cards, so I got the autographs in person. Well, I guess it would have been in person anyway. But, so this was actually really fun, because again, we were still dressed as, I was Gelatoni, and my boyfriend was dressed as Olu. And it was really cute, because everyone that was in this, that were in these costumes, or at least Mickey and Minnie, and I think Donald did too, recognized who both of us were, and it was very fun. Because, like I said, Gelatoni isn't in the American parks, and I guess Olu is at the Alani Resort, so technically American park, so technically in America, but not in one of the parks. They need to bring Duffy and Friends to the American parks. I would desperately love for Duffy and Friends to be in the American parks. Oh, this lighting gives me a really angry brow. Oh no. Anyway. So yeah. Minnie and Donald and Mickey and Goofy. They were the ones from that. Oh. I skipped a page accidentally. Oopsie doodles. Now well. Can't fix it now. I mean, I could have fixed it previously because I could have put the other one in. Anyway. So. They were fun. Like I said, it's always fun when the characters recognize who you are. Alice and the Mad Hatter, so I got to meet them, during the Halloween event, which means that I was dressed as Jackie Skellington, except because of the stripes and the, skeleton mouth, they thought I was the Cheshire Cat, and I'm like, we're a day early, but I don't care. It was fun. Especially since I fall into Cheshire Cat persona pretty quickly. Anyway, so if you accuse me of being the Cheshire Cat, I'm going to start acting like one. So, they were really fun to interact with too, especially since So what happened with this one was they were supposed to have left right before I got there. And specifically the Mad Hatter, which made me very, very happy because the Mad Hatter and the Cheshire Cat are my two favorites, and I'm sad that they don't have the Cheshire Cat in the parks very much. But the Mad Hatter very specifically was actually quite upset that he had to leave because he really liked my costume. And so he's like, well, can't we talk to this person real quick before we have to leave? And that made me very happy. So I'm like, I will wait. I want to meet you too. It was very fun. That made me a very happy Tory to have specifically the Mad Hatter not want to leave without having met me because he liked my costume. That was very fun. Queen of Hearts. So this one was fun because this one might have been my longest wait. The Mad Hatter, the Queen of Hearts, and Figment were all really long waits, although to be fair, the Mad Hatter and Alice were longer because they had to leave and then come back. But this one very specifically was fun because while I was waiting, I ended up doing all of these little doodles along the sides, and the Queen of Hearts very specifically thoroughly enjoyed my doodles. Because she saw all of my doodles, and she looked at me, and then she looked at them, and she pointed them, and then she was like, yes, this is great. I mean, they can't actually speak, but that was kind of the frantic pointing at the page of the doodles that I drew on kind of pointed to me that she was very happy about all of my little doodles. So that was very fun. That was very memorable for my brain. Jafar. I have to say, I love Jafar's autograph. Jafar was also, I think like all of the rest of these were very specifically from the Halloween event. Jafar was very fun. That one was slightly more rushed because of that one had a lot more people because of it being a villainy thing. But Jafar was very fun. His costume, they made him really, really tall, like kind of ridiculously tall, which made me very happy. Because I feel like the villain should be, in fact, towering over me at all times. That sounded like it could be taken very wrong, and I am not going to apologize. So fun fact, Jack Sparrow cannot read or write. And so when you get an autograph from Jack Sparrow, it squiggles. Now what I don't know is if because Jack Sparrow's autograph is squiggles, if they do the same thing with him as they do with the rest of the Disney cast members, which is make sure that they're all done at the exact same way, or not. I feel like it would be more funny if Jack Sparrow's was the only one that isn't consistent throughout all of them, because of the fact that he cannot read or write, and so he's just doodling. I also feel like it would be more funny if they just let him doodle random things on the page and be like, there, it's close enough. So I did not actually get to meet Jack Sparrow because he left right when we got past, and I desperately wanted to do the Hocus Pocus event, or the Hocus Pocus show, and it was the last. Was it the Hocus Pocus show or was it the fireworks? I think it was the fireworks, because the Hocus Pocus show we did was right at the very end of the night, because we had to do the Hocus Pocus show and then we left. So I'm pretty sure it was the fireworks. And so what I did was, because that was, again, during the day that we had a group of people that we had, I gave my autograph book to my friend who desperately wanted to meet Jack Sparrow. I also desperately would have been okay with meeting Jack Sparrow, but I wanted to see the fireworks. So I sent the autograph book with him to have him get Jack's autograph. So the Garden Grill, didn't give you the autograph cards until the very end. And because I already had Mickey and Pluto, I wanted to make sure that I got Chippendale on the off chance that they didn't, do the thing. So, also, if you're wondering, the reason there's a little lamp on this one is because initially we were in line to meet Jeannie and Jasmine the night before. And that didn't happen because they went in. And when they go in, it tends to take a while for them to come back out. And also that particular group was rotating between having Jasmine, Aladdin, and Genie. And when they rotated out, they kind of stopped for a little while. So I'm just like, we had other things that we wanted to do for the night, so that's why there's a little lamp on that one, because it was supposed to be Genie's page, and then they left. And the last one is another one that I didn't get myself, hence it being taped in. I actually tried to get new movie Ariel's, the new live action movie Ariel's autograph. I did try to get that. The problem is that the line for that was an hour long and it wasn't going down. So we ended up skipping, and this is, I don't know if the live action Ariel and the cartoon Ariel have the same autograph, but this is cartoon Ariel's autograph, specifically because of the, so that autograph was actually gotten by my friend who got to see her, because every time we went past Ariel's grotto, she wasn't out. So that's actually why I was going to try to get live action versions, because I wanted to get at least one of them. But somehow it just the stars didn't align. There were several of them that I desperately would have loved to have gotten. I'm going to move this back to center. Yeah. There are many autographs that I would have liked to have gotten that I could not because they were not available. Or the lines were ridiculously long and my options were wait in line for an hour or don't do that. So I chose to don't do that in most cases. Like, I would have loved to have gotten Jack and Sally's autograph, but the problem is they were an hour long immediately after they came out. Yeah. And then the line never went down the entire time. It was an hour long. And then it was always either an hour long or like 5 hours long. And I'm like, I am not using my entire day just to meet Jack and Sally. As much as I would love to meet Jack and Sally, especially since I was dressed as female Jack and my boyfriend was dressed as male Sally. And that would have been amazing to have gotten to meet them immediately. I'm not waiting that long. I'm sorry. Especially not given that I've already proven that I'm strangely good at forging Jack's autograph. Which I probably shouldn't be as proud of as I am, but here we are. There's a fun story behind that I may get into at some point in time in the future if I decide to do that. But, yeah. This video is an hour long. And, that's longer than it should be. because I like to talk about my experiences, and this was me telling you a lot of stories. So, yeah. That's all. Goodbye until next time. Now you know why there's an incessant humming in any future videos and audiobooks. And there's a lot of things to look forward to. But for now, we're gonna go. Toodles!